I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and it's good to see you guys, man. It's good to see you good people. I'm glad you guys are back. So how's everything been going, man? Everything good? I hope everything is good. How is everything? Only got a few things to talk about here tonight, man. As you can see in the title, not a whole lot to get into, but we'll definitely get into what we can get into. So like I always do, man, let me just wait a few moments, allow some of you guys to get up in here, and then we'll get it cracking. What's happening? How's everybody? I hope you guys saw that. If you didn't see it, I hope you at least heard about that fight that took place on Saturday. All I can do, I know my man Luke here watches my other stream on Thursdays, and he would recall me saying what was probably going to happen in that fight. I told people that Tyson Fury, I said that Tyson Fury had a better opportunity to, show something a little different, more so than Deontay Wilder. I said that. So there you have it. But we're not going to really get too far into that tonight, man. This is not the show for that. Of course, I'll talk about it if you guys want to talk about it. But I can't wait till Rough House, gets on. If he comes on tonight, I'm sure he has some things to say about it. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and get into the good people who are here. First and foremost, what up to Droz Hills, Sixburg 6, Luke, Throwback Music, Christian Gonzalez, J Drip, Y Diggy, Michael Garman, Steve Williams, Steeler Gang, Joshua Shields, BSG 74, Leonard Green. Hello, Lanisha Hayes. How you doing tonight, lady? Also, Mr. Wright, my boy Antoine. What's up, Twan? My good brother Kenyon and Luis D is in here early. So, all right, man. Tonight, guys, promise I won't be too long tonight because there's really not a lot to talk about. We're really pulling at strings here. Close to having some things to talk about, man. The Combine will be kicking up this week, so we'll be able to at least, talk about a couple of the guys that we may hear that the Steelers may meet with and things of that nature. And, we can play the ponder game. We can start pondering on who we think the second round pick may be and so forth. But also, man, maybe next week, if Kenyon is up to it, maybe we'll get Kenyon on next week. See maybe if Tony wants to come on as well. Maybe we can get another steel table. We can get another steel table popping, Kenyon could definitely, give us some more insight on some of the prospects and some of the guys that he's had an eye on, and we'll look and see how these guys did in the Combine. And then again, I always tell you guys, my routine. Once the Combine happens, then I go out and I start watching film because I want to see how their Combine, relates to what they basically did on the field. You know what I'm saying? I always want to see if that thing, if that's going to be measured up to what they're basically doing on the field. So there you have it. But anyway, man, let's see. I'll throw it at you guys first. Anything that you wanted to talk about that I do not have in the description, you let me know. But it's not a lot to talk about tonight, man. We're just going to talk about Kevin Colbert. Kevin Colbert, basically the things that he's had to say about, obviously, Ben Roethlisberger. We'll save that for last. But also a few things that he mentioned in the interview today out of the Combine about Bud Dupree and as well as Stephon Tuitt. So we'll talk about those few things. So let's go ahead and start with Stephon Tuitt, man, because Tuitt is really not a whole lot to get into. We didn't get a lot of information. But Kevin Colbert basically says he doesn't anticipate any setbacks. For you guys who've been watching the social medias like I have, you would have saw that Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, I believe Isaiah Buggs, and a few other guys. I believe Tyson Alulu. I think I might even have seen Chicolo. I'm not sure. But basically these guys are working out together, in Dallas. So obviously, if Stephon Tuitt is already traveling and doing things like that to train, obviously he's doing okay, right? I would assume he's doing all right. So don't really have a lot of news on that front. Like I said, it appears to be that Tuitt definitely, doesn't anticipate any setbacks. Now, one other sidebar I want to throw out there, man, I'll hold it wait for a few more of you guys to get in there because I want to get you guys' opinion on something else later on in the show. We'll talk about the proposal from the CBA. We'll talk about, what they're proposing in terms of, the the whole playoffs and extending the playoffs with having 7 teams. I'll get you guys' opinions on that a little later. Definitely want to, well, I don't need to write it down. I'll remember. But if I don't remember, somebody throw that at me before we close the show. I want to get you guys' opinion on that. Really quick, I can't remember if we knew this last week, so I'm going to go ahead and say it again. I think we did cover this Tuesday, but I'm not 100% sure, guys. These weeks seem to run together, but in case we didn't, and for you guys that don't know, the Steelers did not hire the McClendon guy, nor Joshua Kochery as the wide receiver coach. No, they hired Ike Hilliard. Okay, so you guys that don't know that, now, again, I think we talked about it last week, but just to rehash that, it's interesting, man. I'm seeing some people. It's funny when you see everybody's opinion, right? That's what social media does. We all have our own opinions, and we're all entitled to them. But it's always interesting to see the approach that some people take with their opinion. You understand what I'm saying? I like to have educated or thought-provoked opinions. I don't just spew things out for no reason. So let me give you an example. I'm seeing information out there where people are saying they hate the hire. They're saying they should not have hired Ike Hilliard. Why would you do that? You know, he's not going to be good for the Steelers organization. He's not proven as a coach, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here's my question. Where do we get this information from? Right? Now, I'm not saying that Ike Hilliard is going to be the best thing smoking, but what about the hire makes you that upset? You understand what I'm saying? What is it about him that it just rubs you the wrong way? I don't get it. I really don't understand it. You don't know much about him in terms of him being a coach. You know, what I know about him is he was with the Redskins this past season, and, you know, their 3 rookies did pretty good considering, you know, the team that they were on. No disrespect to Redskins fans, but having that whole quarterback up and down situation, and you see what McLaurin was able to do as well as the other young boys, looks like he did a good job to me. And again, I don't know the extent of his coaching, you know, his history before this past season. I didn't even know Ike Hilliard was in the league. I didn't even know he was in the league as a coach. Had no idea. But one thing I do know is the guy played the position. You know, had a pretty decent career, long career. So, again, my question is, I would assume most people would know about as much as what I just said. Like, what is it about him that you can read into the depths of it and say, oh, this was a bad hire? I'm curious to know that. Let me see if some of you guys have a comment on that. Let me see. Let me see if you guys have a comment. Any of you guys? Kegels Bagel says, just chill, haters. Hilliard will be fine. Let's watch and we'll see. Ali says, we needed to get younger on the coaching staff. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. I don't understand it. You know, I don't understand it. But, again, in case I didn't say it last week, I'm pretty sure I did. But let's say it again really quick. I like the hire. I like the fact that they are attempting to get younger. And actually now it's coming back to me. I did say this. But again, I don't know if it was, I might have been talking about the other guy last week. So I don't know, guys. Again, like I said, these 7 days went by really quick. But all in all, I like the youthfulness that they're trying to infuse with the older guys. Older being your Randy Fichtners as well as your Keith Butlers. So we've seen them make, you know, some type of changes on both sides of the ball in the last 2 years. That's infusing, you know, a more youth or even just a little more experience and things like that added on to the guys that we would probably, you know, deep down would rather see a change. Most of us would rather see Keith Butler not be the defensive coordinator. Some people would rather not see Randy Fichtner as the coordinator because, again, they feel like, you know, maybe he's too vanilla. You know, he doesn't have that youthfulness, or he doesn't, you know, have the play calling abilities of an Andy Reid, even though Andy Reid is an older guy. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. You know, I think a lot of Steelers fans would say that it seems like we're stuck in our own way or in our old ways when it comes to offensive and defensive plans. So you would rather see different guys at least helping out, rather see them being more youthful. So there you have it. You know, on the offensive side of the ball, we got Canada in there as well as now Ike Hilliard. some younger guys coming in. So I'm cool with that. And I just don't understand where the hate is for the hire. I don't get it. I don't get how you can, like, realistically, how many offensive staff do we really know? Most people. We probably know the offensive coordinators for most teams because we watch football, right? But I don't know the wide receiver coach for most teams. I don't know these guys. I don't know the secondary coach for most teams. So that's my point. Like, who was the guy that you thought should have been the coach to where it makes the Ike Hilliard hire look stupid? I don't know. I spent too much time on that, but I just wanted to touch on it. The next thing, Kevin Colbert. Okay, he is the third piece of the puzzle, along with the Mike Tomlin as well as Art Rooney. The third piece of the puzzle who is now saying that Bud Dupree is a priority. So what this tells me, guys, is that Bud Dupree will be on the roster in 2020. He's either going to be franchise tagged or, as Kevin Colbert said, he would like for Bud Dupree to finish his career in Pittsburgh. Now, we're not naive. Some of these things are just your normal jargon that you hear from the general manager, not giving too much, not saying too little. But sometimes you can read into what Kevin Colbert is saying the same way you can do with Mike Tomlin. They have a way of saying things without saying it all the way. If you follow their trend and how he GMs and how Tomlin coaches and things like that, if you follow the way they move, you can kind of read between what they're saying and figure out exactly what they're doing. So it's very clear to me that, yes, for you folks that don't like it, sorry to tell you, Bud Dupree will be on the roster in 2020. If he's not, I'd be surprised by that. But the way I'm reading it right now is he will definitely be on the roster. It's more than likely going to be a franchise tag because if Bud Dupree assess the situation, and again, it's just like the quarterback market. I've seen a lot of people saying that Dak Prescott doesn't deserve what he was asking for. Maybe not, but it's the market. Come on, you playing in a game where you got to get yours. I know people always talk about their hometown discount and all that. Listen, man, you can't expect all players to do that. Get yours while you can get yours. So a guy like Dak Prescott, of course, he's going to ask for 30, 40 million or what have you because he probably feels like he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. So what is Bud Dupree going to do? Him and his agent, they're going to look around and they're going to say, let's see what's out there. Oh, this guy's making that? Oh, you outperformed him last year? Yeah, this is going to be our minimum. So it probably sounds like the Dupree is going to be franchise tagged. I don't know if the deal gets done. We all know how the Steelers do their guaranteed dollars. So you wouldn't expect it to be something that's attractive to Bud. Who knows? We'll see. And then also, man, I saw that Javon Hargrave hired Drew Rosenhaus, as his his representation there, as his agent, as well as Artie Burns did. I'm not too concerned about Artie Burns, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really concerned about Javon Hargrave. I'm going to miss him. I really like Jay Wobble, man, but it's no way it's going to happen. It's clear that Bud Dupree is the priority over those two guys. The team has said as much. Again, you read the tea leaves. Mike Tomlin had been saying that you don't use the traditional nose tackle like you once did in today's football. And the reason why, with Hargrave having rush capabilities is the reason why they were able to use him a little more in the absence of Stephon Tuitt and things of that nature. But it clearly shows you where the more valuable piece is in their eyes. It's the pass rusher. And I know people are going to say, well, Bud Dupree has only had this one season. I get it. Ain't nobody going to say that more than myself, or maybe Kenyon. We know. But it's the way of the business. Whether it was a contract year or not, you have a phenomenal season the way you did, paired with that monster on the other side. A team going to look at that like, nah, we don't want to let that go. Think about it, man. When was the last time that our Steelers have had double-digit sacks from their two outside linebackers? That's been a long time, folks. So, yes, one season or not, it's going to look attractive to those people who are coaching him as well as the ones who are supposed to be paying him. There you have it. All right, so last but not least, man, Big Ben Roethlisberger. Let me take a sip of water before I get into this one. Trying not to cough as much tonight. Now, obviously, I'm going to talk about, being a little excited about seeing him actually throw a football, and I'll explain to you why. But before I get to that, y'all know I got to say this, right? I'm the type of person that just speaks my mind, though it is an opinion. And a lot of times you'll hear me say I don't understand some people's opinions, but at the same time, somebody might say that about mine. I acknowledge that. But I just like to speak on real things, and I think a lot of you guys appreciate, when I'm open and candid. One thing I don't understand about the general public, why are we always so quick to judge people? I don't understand that. We'll judge anything that we can. We'll judge people's looks. We'll judge people's relationships and how they should be behaving and blah, 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 blah. Everybody got to have something to say about somebody else. So what am I getting to? Most of what I'm seeing about Ben Roethlisberger is everybody saying he's fat. Oh, he looks like he's been eating. He's out of shape. He's a slob. I'm like, first of all, really? That's what we going to? As if Ben Roethlisberger needs to be Lamar Jackson. That's number one. Number two, me personally, I don't think the man looks extremely fat. I mean, does he look like he put on a few pounds? And I mean that literally a few. He's a big man. What is he, 6'5"? Whatever he is, two plus. What does he play at, like 240, 235? Is it impossible to think that while he has been rehabbing with one arm like this, that he hasn't had the opportunity to do his normal workout regimen? I mean, is it impossible to think that the guy put on a few pounds in the off season? Like, what are we talking about? I'm sorry, I just don't get it. And again, it's coming from Steelers fans. Now, if you're one of the people that's saying that, all right, y'all, that's fine. I'm not saying you're a bad person or nothing like that. You have the right to say what you want. I'm just merely saying, what drives that? What drives that? Now, let me be open and honest and saying, listen, I'm not holier than thou. I'm not a saint. Yes, I've been caught up in the social media as well. And, we've all done it. But, I've slowly started backing away from it. And a lot of you guys that follow me for the gaming aspect, y'all know that. I don't really be on Twitter. No, I can't do the toxic like that. I can't really get into all the toxic stuff all the time. It's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. I know that's the world we live in, so I'm not naive. And also, of course, I know we all are going to occasionally read something on this site, or there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying sometimes you got to just look at it for what it is and say, why does everybody have such an opinion about everything? Everything. I'll give you another example. This is a little off topic a little bit, but even with the Kobe Bryant situation, and God bless the dead, man, bless the family. But I'm seeing people commenting about questioning the relationship that some of the people that was at his memorial service had with him. I'm like, fam, I don't know. I don't know. All I do know is, man, listen, we all got to get a grip. We got to get a better life if we sitting around doing that. Worry about yourself. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. And, that's just my humble opinion. But anyway, let's get back to Ben Roethlisberger. So he's out of shape in February and hasn't thrown a football until Saturday. So what? I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Okay? Like I said, at this stage of his career, we don't need him to be in tip-top shape. Now, it was nice to see. I think it was the season before last. Remember, he came in a lot slimmer, seemed to be a little agile. Of course. But all I'm saying is I think he can get right back to that. The season don't start till September. I mean, come on, man. Cut the man some slack. But here's the part that really impressed me, man. We keep hearing about, they're waiting to see if he's going to be able to throw a tennis ball or small objects and all of these things. And then if he's able to do that, then they'll, slowly progress to bigger and better things and then getting to the point where he could throw a football. So it was amazing for me to see that this date of February 21st was the date that they were going to test something small. And here a video comes out of him throwing an actual football. With full extension. Obviously, we're not going to question velocity and all of those things at this moment. But it was good to see that. And who knows? I'm going to pick a little fun at Ben Roethlisberger. Y'all know our quarterback is a little bit of a drama queen. Who knows if this wasn't his plan all along, I'm just going to, make everybody think, it's baby steps, and I'm going to just come out here and show them how fast I'm progressing. Y'all know how I've been doing his injuries. I ain't blaming them for that. Everybody is their own person, whatever. I have no proof of that. It's just what we all can say watching his career, that he's been somewhat of a drama queen, He wants to be the hero. It is what it is. I'm not judging him. So who's to say that this wasn't planned all along? I say all that to say this. It's good to see as a fan that this quarterback looks like he's back on track, and we may have an opportunity to see what he has left in the tank with the defense that was displayed last season. Does it have me a little excited as a fan? Absolutely. Because I think with a little more offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers can definitely make some noise. Do I think we can win a Super Bowl? I'm not going to go that far. I'm not. I'm not. Let's be real. There's a whole lot of things that has to be done differently. But do I think with the Ben Roethlisberger that we saw in 2018 that produced over 5,000 yards passing, setting those records, also 16 interceptions, we can't forget that. But do I think that Ben Roethlisberger with last year's defense could have made some noise? Absolutely. Do I think that Pittsburgh Steelers team would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know about that. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. We had a better defense, a pretty good defense. But y'all know that we still had times during this season where we, certain situational things when things didn't work out. So I'm just saying, don't get ahead of yourselves just thinking that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be this fantastic team all of a sudden. It's still a work in progress. We still have to see what is Juju going to be with Ben Roethlisberger. Is Deontay Johnson going to continue to trend up? I think he will. Y'all know that. I'm a big advocate of Deontay Johnson. I told you that when we drafted him, what I saw. He started proving that to us throughout the season. Can James Washington stay that consistent? Can he be that from start to finish? But we still got some holes, guys. Tight end, running back situation, James Conner's health, I mean, what we going to do in the draft? We'll see. And it does sound like, speaking of the draft, that we may be drafting. I heard Alex Kazur say this on the Terrible podcast. He's right. Listening to Kevin Colbert, does sound like we might be looking for a pass rusher somewhere in that draft, because Colbert kept saying, how the outside linebacker position is, he kind of said it's deep, and he wouldn't expect it to be as deep as it is. So that makes me think that they got their eye on those positions. He also talked about running back, wide receiver, and tight end. So we can definitely, again, let's kind of listen to what Colbert is talking about. You get an idea where he wants to go. Definitely we can look for those positions, man, early on from the second, to the third round. If the guy's there, that's probably where they're going to go. All right, so that's pretty much all I got on the docket, man. Let me see if there's anyone in the queue. As far as phone calls, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like we have any phone calls tonight. All right, so let's go right into the chat. I told you guys this was going to be a fairly short show. Oh, really quick. Let me throw this at you guys as I'm reading comments. So the proposed CBA includes a change in the playoff format. What they're proposing is that there would be 7 teams from each conference. Okay, so a total of 14 teams instead of 12. and only one team, which basically would be the number 1 seed on both conferences, will get the bye. The number 2 seed will be playing on wild card weekend, or I don't even know if they call it wild card anymore if it's just one team with the bye. I'm not sure if they will change the name of that since there's more teams. And some people would say, well, why is it 7? Makes sense to me, because if you're still going to give one team a bye, then you got to have the remaining 6 going head to head. So you got to keep it even. So that's why you had to add, you see what I'm saying? Same way how they got it now. 2 teams have the bye, and then there's still even teams left. There's still the other 4 for each conference that are able to play on wild card weekend. So that's interesting. How do you guys feel about that? Me personally, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, I honestly, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go all the way there. I don't have a big problem with it. I heard what Dave Bryan had to say, from Steelers Depot, and I respect what he's saying. He says that it kind of waters down the playoffs, but you're right. I get that, but I still think, though, there's some advantages, man. I think it does allow teams to have to play through Week 17. It also allows teams like the Steelers, who've had a tough outing the last couple years, not really our best, finishing 9-6-1 and then finishing 8-8. It allows those teams to actually make it into the playoffs and upset somebody, potentially go on a run. It'll definitely make more 8-8 teams more valuable. It'll definitely be interesting, again, in Week 17. A lot of teams, think about how much could be at stake. You have the number 1 and number 2 teams going against each other to get the number 1 seed to get the bye. Interesting. So I think it does add some excitement. And, I understand what Dave Bryan was saying is like, who wants to see a bunch of 8-8 teams? And I don't have a problem with that. Considering the fact that, we've seen teams go 9-7 and go all the way. So to me, I'm not opposed to it. I don't necessarily see any negatives. I don't think I see it the same way as far as saying that the product would be watered down. I think it makes the season a bit more interesting, especially the last 2 weeks of the season. Just my opinion. But I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me take a look, man. Yeah. I feel y'all. The 7 and 9, that would suck. I feel you, Six Bird. We do actually have 2 calls, man. So let me grab the 2 calls really quick, and then we will get back to the chat. So y'all know the routine, man, as far as the callers. Keep it as quick as you can. In and out, please. We'll give you your time, Deshaun. First up, we have area code 803. What's going on tonight?
Hey, brother, what's going on tonight?
Good, man. How you doing?
Hello? Good,
yeah.
Good. You were talking about Ben Roethlisberger, and it's like Michael Jordan. We were always told, don't tug on Superman's cape. And, we've seen Ben do some phenomenal things over the years, including the Cleveland Brown game, playing on one leg. And I know sometimes he can be a drama queen, but he's the best show on, he's the greatest show on turf. Secondly, with the new NFL season and scheduling and everything, I only wish, and how do you feel about it? I only wish that there were at least 2 buys in there because, getting over injuries and stuff. A lot of guys are going to get hurt, but could they at least put 2 buys in there to kind of make playing 17 games a little better, I guess. What's your opinion on that? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate you calling. You bring up an interesting point, and I see why Diggy mentioned the same thing, and I want to comment on that. What I don't know, and maybe y'all are bringing up something that I didn't know, is the 17 conference playoffs, so the 14-team playoffs, is that because it coincide with the 17-week season as far as, 17 actual weeks? Or is that 2 totally different things? So I'll comment on both. What I was talking about is just the playoff format, because they said that, it could possibly be tested in this coming season. which we know this coming season, I don't believe there's a chance of having an extended, season as far as the week. So if they leave it like that, I'm not too opposed to it, man. It would get a little crazy, though, if you start seeing a lot of these 7-9 teams. But at the end of the day, if that's just the trend of the season, if you have X amount of teams that are just at the bottom half, it is what it is. What if one of them teams get hot and go on a run? So I don't have too much problem with that. Now, extending the season, I ain't for that. You're going to have to really compensate these players, man. We all know that football is the roughest, most rugged, the week-to-week sport. It's a tough situation, right? And unless these guys are overly compensated or you do some different things, like my man said, maybe having 2 buys, yeah, maybe it can work like that. But to just add another week, and then you got to think about, heading into the playoffs, that's another week you got to put people on the field. I ain't for that one. I'm not for that. Because to me, the only benefit is it's benefiting the league. More exposure. That's more money. That one extra week, believe it or not, they're making a whole lot more money. So I'm not with that. I'm about the players first. So that's just my opinion. All right, next up, man, we got area code 651. What's going on? What you got for us?
How you doing, man? Just got a couple ideas for you. Just want to run across you. I'm looking at Bud Dupree thinking he's probably gone because he's going to price himself away from us, or at least he thinks he is. And we really can't waste a lot of time waiting for him. So what do you think about a guy like Shaquille Barrett, who was a pretty good outside linebacker that Joey Porter actually wanted us to bring in from when he coached at Colorado State? He played on a 1-year deal for $5 million, like a prove-it deal, and showed up pretty good in Tampa Bay. Maybe a cheaper option to be able to stretch the money other places. Hargrave signed with Rosenhaus, probably gone. So I'm thinking they're going to start trying to get creative with filling other parts and holes to help our team out. And as far as Ben, we don't really need him to be Super Bowl Ben from back then. We need him to be able to make smart decisions with the ball. Sometimes take those 3 points. We can't go for the gusto every time. With the defense we got, we can stay in every game, Also, the running game, we got to do something, man. I think we have enough different running backs to make the person that they want, but we don't use them in that way. We don't bring Kevin White out when we need to, or Samuel Zeller. And since Thomas been there, we've mostly been a one-back offense. And it shows when we have them out there. So, and the last thing I want to say is, as far as Rudolph, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I just think he was still foggy from their Ravens game. And he tried to stand up in the pocket and be the quarterback he should be, but he was rushing himself. He was still foggy. But when he came back in for that Bills game, that's the Rudolph that I think we got. So that's all I got for tonight, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thanks for calling. I'll try to get to your points. Let me address the one about let me see if I can find it. Trying to remember in the memory bank. The Bud Dupree and Shaq Barrett situation. I like Shaq, man. Yeah, that's cool. My only question, though, is, see, what scares me, even with free agency, I still don't know if the Steelers are going to be able to get a guy like that. I'm sure, a $5 million deal or something like that, they can definitely massage the cap. But that's the only thing that concerns me is, like, if they don't keep Bud Dupree, are they going to try to go pay another free agent, or are they going to try to, rely on the draft? And that's the thing. And, we're going to find out pretty soon, because either Bud Dupree is going to get tagged, by the deadline, or we'll see them try to make a move in free agency that might let us know that Bud Dupree won't get tagged or get signed. But I'm with you all the way. Bring in another option, a cheaper option, somebody that can help TJ Watt on the opposite side. It's just hearing Colbert and Tomlin and Rooney and all of them keep saying how much Bud Dupree is a priority. That just sounds like to me that their mind is set. But like you said, anything could happen. He might price himself out. We shall see. Karif White. I'm big on Karif White, man. I think Karif White just has that additional gear, that change of pace. It kind of reminds me of the situation when there was Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker. I don't think many of us probably wouldn't say that Willie Parker was a great running back. I don't think we will say that. He was okay, but I don't think anybody's going to confuse him for being a great back, that he had that speed. That's what I'm seeing out of Karif White, man. Every time he's touched the ball, he kind of shows us what he can give you. A little pop here. He has vision from what we've seen with him running the ball, and he got the speed. So I definitely want to see them work Karif White into the fold more. Now, you're assuming that he's going to be with us going into camp. He got time to really, really, really learn the offense from scratch. So I would like to see that as well. What you said about Hargrave, yeah, he's gone. I don't think we got a chance with him. And I agree with what you said about Big Ben. We don't need him to be Superman Ben. And if my boy Tony is in here, he'll definitely agree with this. Sometimes you just got to take what the defense is giving you. We don't got to take the shot all the time. Be an elevated game manager. And when I mean elevated, just be better than that, but still manage the game. And with that defense, if they play anywhere close to how they played last year, I think we're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. We got to get our run defense under control, though, because we facing some running backs this coming season, brother. But all right, man, I think that's going to do it in terms of the calls. Let me go to the chat really, really, really quick. Oh, Rudolph. One thing I want to say about that, because I see Dro says Rudolph is trash. Look, man, I'm not going to tell anybody that their opinion is right or wrong. All I'm going to say is I can't outright say that he's trash yet. He stunk up the place in his first official season, having to start numerous games. Did not look that great. He had moments when he looked okay. He had moments when you could see promise. What we cannot forget is the guy is still young. He basically a rookie on the field. Okay, it was his second season. Nobody was expecting him to play. He basically had to learn on the fly. And we saw good moments. We saw not so good moments. So he's not going to be a prodigy. So he's not going to be Patrick Mahomes and just be the bomb right out the gate. But again, I don't look at it like that. That's just me. I don't expect all these players to be phenomenal. I let that kind of surprise me. I let that kind of creep up on me and be like, whoa, this dude turned out to be a monster and it's his first to second year, like a Patrick Mahomes. But I don't go into it thinking this guy's got to be bang or bust. Mason Rudolph might turn out to be a decent quarterback. You got to give him time. Now, I know some people are going to challenge this and they're going to say, well, because I'm going to say, look at Tannehill. But a lot of people are going to say, yeah, Derrick Henry was really all Tennessee had. No, I don't think you can say that, right? Tannehill did some things when he needed to. Maybe not late in the playoff run, but Tannehill played some ball this season, right? And Mariota was there. He couldn't do it. So he was doing something right. Even though he wasn't asked to pass all the time, he was doing whatever Mariota couldn't do. And I say Tannehill because remember, there was a time when we probably thought Tannehill was washed. Give him time. That's all I'm saying. Don't write the dude off that fast. If he's not a good quarterback, we'll find out. But I just think it's too early. And Kevin Colbert also spoke on that. They seem very confident with Mason Rudolph. So there you have it. But all right, man, let's get into a few of the comments, man, then we'll get out of here. But like I said, you guys, I don't disagree. That's your opinion of him. I'm just saying that I'm not willing to just say he's never going to be a good quarterback. I can't say that right now. Only thing I could judge him on is what I saw last season and understanding that he was a young quarterback. He just didn't play his best. He had semi-decent games and he had some really bad games. That's all I can say right now. I can't call it a career on Mason Rudolph yet, but that's just me. I'm not going to take you guys' opinions away from you. So there you have it. All right, man. Kenyon says, Jordan, we don't know what Zach's entry is yet because he was an underclassman last year and like a redshirt year, can't evaluate him yet. See that? And Kenyon is basically saying the same thing I'm saying, but he's talking about the tight end because I'm assuming somebody is saying that Zach Gentry isn't it yet. And this, again, as fans, we're spoiled. We are spoiled as fans. Fans think that every player that comes in the league is going to be Patrick Mahomes, doing what he did so quick. It don't work like that. It just doesn't. So you can't be pissed off or upset when every position that the Steelers go after doesn't pan out. It is very possible that Zach Gentry won't ever be anything. Maybe he will. It's very possible that Mason Rudolph won't be anything. Maybe he will. I remember people were saying that about Jesse James too. Jesse James never turned out to be amazing, but Jesse James turned out to be decent for us, for what we asked him to do. Just saying, man, you got to wait and see. Captain Spartan says, y'all don't forget Connor is loved by the office. They have made that clear. Very clear. I agree with you there. Sixberg said his footwork and pocket presence was high school level, just bad. Okay, again, I'm not going to disagree with your opinion. That I'm not here to say that Mason Rudolph will be anything. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not ready to call it a career on him. He has room to grow. Let's see. Because remember, a lot of people were, and I'm not saying you guys did, but a lot of people who watched this show were campaigning for Duck also. And then once he started playing bad, I'm just saying, you got to give some of these guys who are not going to be out the gate superstars, it take them a while. Then you have to wait and see what they become. So, Darren Dalton says, encouraging to see a video of being able to throw now. Just hope it isn't too late for him at this point, like when Muhammad Ali kept boxing after the Ernie Shavers fight beating. Yeah, but you know what, man? Ben Roethlisberger, if you ask me, remember guys a couple years ago when I was willing to say, I don't know if Ben still got it? Y'all remember that? This was 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden, like right around that Indianapolis Colts game in Indianapolis, his season started changing. Y'all remember that? And Ben started going on a roll and lighting it up. Then he comes in 2018, right? Comes in 2018 and lit it up. Set records for his passes and touchdowns. Career highs. Did not like the 16 interceptions. I agree. But what I'm saying is the last 2 years we've seen him play, he looked better than he did the prior 2 years. So I understand your analogy, but I don't. What about his play is making us say that he's washed coming off of the last time we saw him play? Now, yeah, we can judge him on the Patriots game in week 1 and half of the Seahawks game. But you understand what I'm saying? It wasn't that I haven't seen anything play-wise to make me feel like he's washed yet. Now, if anything, maybe the arm doesn't recover the way he expects it. That's possible. But I can't say that based off of the way that I last saw him play. Just my opinion. Jordan Mid says, laugh out loud, we spoiled for real because Heath was amazing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. See? And it's okay, Jordan. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with us being spoiled fans and having expectations of greatness. Because we've seen some great players. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm doing is just providing the realistic, POV. That's all. There's nothing wrong with you wanting, like how we get on Edmonds. Ain't nothing wrong with us as fans getting on him. But I always come in and give you the real POV. And I'm like, well, maybe he's not a great safety. I mean, I know we want that, but maybe he's just not going to be a great safety. It's possible. But we will never judge a strong safety well because we remember Troy Polamalu. See what I'm saying? Let's see what else y'all got. Ali says, Sim, I think since we don't treat the quarterback position like the rest, so QB talent goes unseen, unnoticed from lack of play time. Yeah, that's a great point. I agree with you there. That's a great point. BSG says, if you were a GM and you needed a roster spot, do you cut Ryan Shazier? Oh, man, don't ask me that. Y'all want me to be honest, right? I think you have to. Listen, I love Ryan Shazier. That guy was a playmaker, okay? And he had his bumps, too, in his first season. Y'all remember that? First couple seasons. Made some good plays, made some not so good plays, but he was starting to get into his groove, and he started becoming a playmaker. Like the interception he made, in the Ravens, when he kind of, was in the middle of the field and kind of tricked Flacco and still got out there and picked it off before it got to the tight end. Excuse me. Like the tipped interception that he caught off the ground at the line of scrimmage. Many plays that we've seen him do, dropping back into coverage. His speed, the way he covered up holes in that defense, playing against screens, et cetera, loved him. And Ryan Shazier was about to be a guy that I think we were going to talk about for many, many years. But we got to come to reality. We can't hold the roster spot, man. If it came down to that, we can't do that. The reality is, man, Ryan Shazier probably never plays football again. Now, we keep hearing that he's progressing and looking much better than anybody anticipated. But it's a business at the end of the day. Give him a position in the organization. I like to keep him around because the guy was a film rat. Keep him in the organization. You know what I'm saying? Like, start grooming him for coaching or just, give him some type of position and keep him around. But in terms of, continuing to allow his salary to toll and stuff like that, and if you need the spot, you got to let him go, man. You got to, again, it's the business. You got to face reality. It's not being harsh. It just is what it is. He's a football player that unfortunately had I'll even go as far as saying tragic injury. And he might not ever play ball again. So, got to do what you got to do, man. It's a business. And he definitely wants to play. I know that's in his mind, but you got to do what you can do. You got to at least do something where it helps both him and the team. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, man, to be honest with you. Let's see what else y'all got. Why Diggy says, a lot of people mention the number of picks from Ben, but his interceptions was actually down in 2018. Plus, with the way the elbow went out, leads me to believe he was he was hurt in the New England game. Yeah, you know what, Diggy, that's a good point. Because, we got to remember it was week 2. And this was a non-contact injury. We seen him wincing as he threw. And every time he goes down, you right. Might not have been right. The arm might have been feeling a little funny. Who knows? But you're right. I just don't like the double-digit interceptions. That's all. But with the way he played in 2018, to offset it with the touchdown numbers and the yards, you couldn't really be upset. So, like I said, if 2018 Ben shows up, I don't understand why we're beefing. And people ready to usher him on out the door. Other than the fact, now if you want to make this case, it's going to be an old happy day when he retires in terms of cap space. I agree with you with that argument. Excuse me. But he's our quarterback. He's our quarterback, man. Why we pushing him out the door, man? That's my quarterback. We better enjoy it. We better enjoy it. Because guess what? Trevor Lawrence and all these other guys that y'all would dream for us to have might not happen. We don't know what the next quarterback, what's he going to be or who he's going to be. So you better get back on board and enjoy these last, which would seem to be the last 2 years of Roethlisberger. Because worse days are coming. There's no guarantee that we have a Roethlisberger sitting in the cut like we got very fortunate with when we drafted him, that he turned out to be, think about it, spoiled us again, won all them games in his first 2 years. Ain't no guarantee, folks, that we're going to have that. No guarantee. So you better hold on to him while you got him. All right, man, I'm going to read a few more comments and then we out of here, man. We're out of here after that, guys. And next week, man, maybe we'll take more calls. Guys, call early. I need you guys to start calling earlier in the show. Much earlier so I could get all the calls in. Let's see. What else y'all got? Jacob Perkins says, I'd hire Shazier as a defensive assistant. Yep, I agree with that. Help out with the the linebackers. I definitely agree with that. Brett Fine says, what are we keeping him for? Realistically, man, I think it was a kind of a moral thing as well as the salary. Because, for the last couple of seasons, his salary has told. So, it's some business going on there. But I think they do genuinely love and like Ryan Shazier. And they're trying to keep the door open as long as they can as well to see if he can recover. Because he wants to play. So I think the Steelers are being honorable in doing that. But it has to get to a point where we know the definitive. Does this look like it's going to happen or no? So there you have it. Let's see. Who else? My big brother, my cousin Floyd in the building, man. Let me read Floyd's comments. Floyd says, what up, Floyd? And again, I told y'all that me and him call each other Floyd, but y'all wouldn't understand that, man. It's an inside joke. So he says, what up, Floyd? Keep in mind also about 60% of his picks forcing it to nutty AB. Yep. Trying to keep him happy and quiet. Is the Jacksonville game 3 or 4 of the 5 were in AB's direction? You ain't lying. Especially that one into the end zone. I mean, forcing it into Jalen Ramsey's way, like, that's a big part of it too. Forcing the ball to AB. I mean, how many times? He's right. In the Jacksonville game, y'all remember that year? How many times did we scream at Ben like, bruh, there's 2 or 3 people around AB. What are you doing? And then the one interception, y'all remember that year? See, a lot of us real Steelers fans, we can recall these games like nothing. Remember, it might have been the first one to the tight end. That was James Conner. Remember how James Conner missed the block and got blown up? And Ben had to get rid of it really quick? Try to throw it to the tight end? But yeah, if that Ben returns to us, man, 2018 Ben, I'm cool with it. Let's see. I'll read a few more of these and then we'll be up out of here. And Floyd, we got to get you in here one day too, man. We got to get you the call so the people can hear you. Jason Whittingham says, should we utilize the transition over the franchise tag? In the Bud Dupree's case, I just think you franchise him. That the transition tag, it's real flimsy. I think you just go ahead and you're either going to tag him or you're not. You're going to tag him or you're not. I wouldn't even fool around with the transition tag. Let's see. Who else? Captain Spartan says, I think we paying Shazier like $500,000, nothing much. Yeah, I don't think it's a lot because, again, his salary is tolling. Ali says, you can only blame interceptions on wide receivers when they tip the ball or run the wrong route. Ben doesn't need help throwing picks. You're right. But what we're saying is a lot of times he was trying to force it to AB. When you go back and look at the footage, his other guys are open. Like he's basically relying on AB to be in a spot or whatever and forcing it into double coverage. A lot of times. Think about it. You guys remember that, man, as fans just watching the game. A lot of times, how many times were we pissed off saying, man, he's trying to force it to AB? A lot of times he did. All right, last one, man. TMI Go says, what is your longest time streaming? I don't know if you're asking in general or if you're asking tonight. I mean, I'm about to end the show right now tonight. If you're asking in general, I don't know. I mean, I've streamed Madden games, 2-3 hours. As far as this show, the longest stream we've probably ever done was during the draft time. That was about 2 hours. But I don't know exactly what you're asking there, so I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I know what you're asking. All right, man, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, man. Again, if you guys are listening, you want to call in, try to do it earlier in the show, man, because we always try to keep this show to about an hour. I didn't even expect it to be 54 minutes tonight. I thought it would be a short show, and every time I say that, you guys surprise me. So there you have it. If you want to call in, make sure you do it early in the show, 619-924-0818, because I would prefer to get all the calls in. But sometimes I just can't, I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. But that's why I ask that you call in sooner than later. Also, before you go, I need you guys to do that. 3 simple instructions. Thumbs up, subscribe, cut on your notifications. That's very easy. And it don't cost you nothing. All right? And speaking of that, as far as cost, if you would like to donate, feel free to do so. You can do it during the stream. You only have about 2 more minutes left to do that if you would like to do it here on YouTube. Click the $ in the bottom right corner and have at it. I thank you in advance. But for you guys who prefer outside of YouTube, and there has been quite a few of you guys know who you are, I thank you very much for that. I thank you for all of you guys who have utilized PayPal and Cash App. You know who you are, but I want to openly thank you here. And for anybody who wants to do that as well, the information is in the description of the video. Thank you in advance. But outside of that, I hope everybody has a great night. Was there anything else before we go? I don't think so. I think that's it. We shall see. Let's see what goes on with the combine. And like I said, man, if there's enough to talk about, maybe we'll get Kenyon on next week and Tony have another steel table so you guys can get kind of that panel discussion going. And we'll see how that goes. But outside of that, man, have a great night. Be safe. God bless. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Tile Tuesday. Peace.